Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we have some massive breaking news. Classified documents were found at the home of former Vice President Mike Pence, who of course was Vice President to Donald Trump. As you can see from this CNN exclusive article, these classified documents were found at his Indiana home. Now this story really throws a wrench in the Republican arguments surrounding President Biden having classified documents after he was VP, doesn't it? And what I find especially interesting about this story is that Mike Pence was asked if he took any classified documents back to his house, and he said no. Take a look at the clip.
Did you take any classified documents with you from the White House?
I did not.
Do you see any reason for anyone to take classified documents with them leaving the White House?
Well, there'd be no reason to have classified documents, particularly if they were in an unprotected area.
Well, there were classified documents, and they were in, as you report, an unprotected area.
Right. And on top of this, around 2 weeks ago, Mike Pence went on to Fox News to emphasize how thorough his team was to make sure that they had no documents they weren't supposed to have after the document story came out about President Biden. Take a look at that video as well.
The White House, the attorneys on my staff went through all the documents at both the White House and our offices there and at the Vice President's residence to ensure that any documents that needed to be turned over to the National Archives, including classified documents, were turned over. So we went through a very careful process in that regard.
So yeah, it's just rather ironic that Mike Pence said all of these things, and of course he and his party have been bashing Biden for classified documents, but now classified documents have been found at Mike Pence's residence. Isn't it also interesting how no Republicans are calling for Mike Pence to be criminally prosecuted after they've been screaming for weeks for Biden to be criminally prosecuted? But of course, you know, Republicans love a double standard. So this is the letter that Mike Pence's lawyers sent to the National Archives, and basically all of the important stuff in this letter is highlighted in yellow. And as you can see, they write that Mike Pence and his team inadvertently boxed and transported to the personal home of the former vice president at the end of the last administration. Vice President Pence was unaware. At the bottom of that paragraph, they say that Mike Pence stands ready and willing to cooperate fully. And the reason these lawyers are emphasizing that Mike Pence didn't know that these documents were there is to protect him legally, because as we've discussed before, you need to prove intent to criminally charge someone with mishandling classified documents. As you can see, all of these documents were discovered last week, and all of the appropriate agencies have been alerted. The FBI and the Justice Department's National Security Division have launched a review of the documents and how they ended up at his home in Indiana. But this whole story started when Mike Pence asked his lawyer with experience handling classified material to conduct a search of his home out of an abundance of caution. And they say that his attorney began going through boxes stored at Mike Pence's house, and they found a small number of documents with classified markings. The lawyers immediately notified the National Archives, and the FBI came to pick up the documents that evening. But of course, the big question is, how did these documents get there in the first place? And as of now, the evidence points to it being an accident. It seems that these documents were inadvertently packed in with all of the other documents that Pence might have been taking after his time as vice president. And in that regard, it seems very similar to Biden's case. It seems like these documents were just taken accidentally, and it was just a simple mistake. And of course, over the last year, we've seen in the news that Donald Trump had classified documents, Mike Pence had classified documents, and Joe Biden had classified documents. And all of these stories seem to suggest a more systemic problem related to classified material in the Presidential Records Act. It just seems that the United States is really bad at tracking the location of our classified documents, and that's a pretty big deal. And I think whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, this is probably something we should be addressing pretty soon. But what I find interesting is that Republicans quickly ran to the defense of Mike Pence. I mean, for example, Donald Trump said Mike Pence is an innocent man. He never did anything knowingly dishonest in his life. Leave him alone. But remember, Donald Trump is the same guy who was calling for Biden to be arrested with similar circumstances. So clearly Donald Trump doesn't have any consistency on this issue. And it wasn't just Donald Trump. I mean, look what Ted Cruz had to say about it. He attacked Biden, saying that the University of Delaware needs to be searched by the FBI, that Hunter Biden's house needs to be searched by the FBI, which of course is an insanely unreasonable request. But then when he was asked about Mike Pence's classified documents, he said, no, Mike Pence is a good guy. He's explained where these come from. No harm, no foul. Like, of course, Republicans have such a double standard when it comes to this story. Now, the big question is, did Mike Pence commit any crimes? And I am saying no, based on the evidence we have, Mike Pence did not commit any crimes. Because remember, the laws surrounding classified documents require that you prove that they intentionally removed these classified documents or intentionally mishandled them. I mean, for example, 18 U.S. Code section 1924, which is the unauthorized removal and retention of classified documents or material. It says whoever being an officer, employee, contractor, yada yada, knowingly removes such documents or materials without authority and with the intent to retain such documents or materials at an unauthorized location shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 5 years or both. So obviously you would have to prove that Mike Pence knowingly removed these documents, and as of now there's just not evidence to suggest that. And also under 18 U.S. Code section 2071, which is the concealment, removal, or mutilation generally of classified material, it says whoever willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, yada yada these documents, then you'll face some consequence. And again, willfully is the key word there. It suggests that you have to prove intent. And of course, I really do not like Mike Pence, but I just don't think he broke any laws in this circumstance. Now, of course, none of this applies to Donald Trump, because in Trump's case, there is some pretty clear intent. And not only is intent clear in Donald Trump's case, but the obstruction of justice and the violation of the Espionage Act is also very clear in Donald Trump's case. So based on the evidence we have right now, Biden and Pence appear to have not committed any crimes, but Donald Trump appears to have committed some crimes. But regardless of party affiliation, I think we can both agree that both sides needs to be better when handling classified documents. Anyway, folks, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I would really appreciate if you did all of those things. Your support on my channel means so much to me. And once again, whether you agree with me or you disagree with me, have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you folks soon.